Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so today I have Schuyler Moore on the line. He's a partner over at Greenberg Glusker, and he's also author of The Biz, which is in its 6th edition now, and that's the basic business, legal, and financial aspects of the film industry in a digital world. Sky, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
All right. I've been covering AFM, and I've talked to multiple filmmakers and, bring them on the show, do that kind of thing, and have a lot of fun hearing about their projects. And your name came up twice in one day. Now, that doesn't happen that often, not twice in one day of interviews. So I was like, wait a minute, how have I not had Sky on the show? I looked up your book. I'm like, wait a minute, 6th edition? I'm a local. I understand you're in LA as well. I was like, got to get him on the show. So I'm happy to have you here, and I want to get a little bit more into what you're working on and also into your book, of course. And I guess just to get us kicked off here, before we go into the book, before we get into that piece of it, how'd you get started in the business? Like law, how'd you go down that track? What made you attracted to the entertainment side?
I wasn't attracted to the entertainment side at all. I was a tax nerd, and I still am a tax nerd.
Yeah.
And I just happened to end up at a firm that without me knowing, unbeknownst to me, was very heavily entertainment. And so I ended up doing entertainment tax work, and then I ended up writing a treatise that is still published to this day called Taxation of the Entertainment Industry. And then from there, I just fell into the business side of the industry, so I just became heavily involved in the financing, not representing talent, always on the business side. And then I ended up doing, because of my tax expertise, a lot of the big cross-border financings. So when literally billion-dollar deals became kind of the norm in the heyday, with investment from China, investment from India, investment from Japan, and I did all of those because of my tax expertise, and then just segued, and then I ended up then I taught at UCLA for both the business school and the law school, and then I wrote the textbook for that, which is the book The Biz, and so that's how that book came about. So I just kind of fell into the industry. I still don't give a hoot about entertainment. I'm just good at it because I've been doing it for so long.
Oh, I love that. Well, I'll tell you what, the filmmakers I talked to, specifically those two, they were like, one of them was Dan and Laz. They're out of Miami. They're the brothers Nunez. And they were like, man, you should really, this book, whatever. They were like, so there's a lot of people that have based models on you and have learned a lot. So I appreciate your work. So I'll throw that out there for you.
Well, I also have, where I'm really better known is I have a Forbes column that goes out every month and a newsletter that goes out every month. And so I keep people abreast of new developments like the tax law or Section 181. When there are problems, when there's good news or bad news, I kind of alert everybody really right, like artificial intelligence and everything that's going on. So that's how I'm probably...
Man, you knew where I was going with this, too, and I didn't even tell you. I just hosted a panel the other day in Santa Monica, and a couple entertainment guys on there, and we're talking about, one of them was a lawyer, and we're talking about like AI and what's next for the creator. I'm interested from your perspective. You've been in this business for a long time. Like, what is next for the creator as AI is moving in?
Okay, so I do a lot with AI. I represent a lot of AI companies, and from podcasts to books to screenplays to the visuals to online. So I'm all over AI.
Yeah.
I have two general themes. Theme one is AI is going to has the capacity to be absolutely perfect creatively, and will be able to make full-length, feature-length films from start to finish, including the script, the music, the actors, everything. And so everybody needs to get over it and stop with this where the humans are some divine inspiration and we're the only ones with the creative spark. You're going to hear that all the time.
I love this opinion, Sky. Go ahead, please. I'm just enjoying it.
You're going to hear this all the time. Humans are, I call it the divine origin of humans theory, which is that, we're created by God and we have this divine spark and blah, blah, blah. That's baloney. All right, so that's comment one. That's the bad news. The good news is, and I'm about to publish an article on this in Forbes, which is, the good news is, it's the so what theory, which is, and it's only occurred to me recently because I was scrolling through YouTube Shorts with my wife, and The moment that we suspect that it's created by AI, we move on. We scroll to the next one because we have no interest, because who cares? Mm. And then I started thinking about the World Series. Did you watch the World Series at all?
I didn't watch it this year, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I will tell you, it was extraordinary. It was dramatic, all kind of fun. Had it been created by AI and had it been frame for frame the exact same thing, nobody would have watched. Mm-hmm. And so what I believe is going to happen is that the market will decide, and if people know that it's created by AI, they will just tune out, and their audience, the market, will decide this. Mm. And for example, we represent Tom Cruise, and he is well known for doing many of his stunts on Mission Impossible himself.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I think that is a big sell point for those films. Had people thought that those films were created by AI, I don't think that people would go. And so what my thesis is that I'm about to publish is that the MPAA should add a rating category that says AI. If there's any element that's created by AI, the public should know. And they should, just like it's whether it's R or M or whatever, they should also say that it's AI. And then second, the Producers Guild, before they give the PGA mark, which is what you need to get an Oscar, they should require the producers to commit that they have not used AI in the film. And then I would even go further and say that in the next guild, the PGA only should accept members that commit not to use AI. And in the next round of guild negotiations, which, by the way, are coming up next year, it's already been 3 years, that they should put their foot down and say they're going to only accept companies to become signatories to the basic agreement if they commit not to use AI in a way that would replace a member. And I think that they are allowed to. I think that legally they can do that, and they should. And that would be a way to alert the public to who is and is not using AI.
Yeah.
And that's the way that is the ultimate solution for the creative community to the extent people are concerned about the issue. So there's my 2 cents. I
like the division too, and I like the kind of the delineation, because what I think is going to happen to a certain extent is there's just going to be a new genre, a new market. The market's going to get bigger. Some people, there's going to be a small niche. I don't know who, I don't know where, but there'll be a very small niche that prefers the AI content and they want to deal with, and that they knew, for example, let's say some of those individuals that are following currently AI generated Instagram accounts where everybody knows 100% that's AI. It's an AI person, it was an AI narrative, it's an AI story. Yep. So somebody's watching that type of AI character for long enough and it becomes part of their life and they resonate, and the creators are authentic with their version of what that story is supposed to look like. You put it in a film, you put it somewhere else, it's a bunch of these AI, made up characters that everybody knows is AI. I mean, it's entertainment. Somebody wants to see it, and they're already proving it based on some of the accounts they're following.
Yeah, that's true. The influencers, they're making a lot. By the way, they're making a lot of money which is remarkable. But yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But I do like the transparency of giving people a option and knowing, and also rating. And I'm not going to use the word control, but just making it so that people are aware. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially since, and the interesting part to me about a big piece of that conversation is that some of our, not, maybe it won't be in our generation or our lifetime, but maybe, it's already here. So I don't mean the technology, by the way. I just mean preference, taste and preference. But, some of the actors that were once upon a time doing it, that are going to be able to be in things forever is what it comes down to. I think about some of the old time hosts, would I have wanted to see maybe Don Rickles roast some of our current day celebrities? I actually would. I was thinking about that the other day. If I was what's one person that I'd want to see, if it was an AI and he was going to live on forever, I want to hear him roast some people. I think that'd be funny.
Very funny. Yeah, okay.
Roasting some of the current day people with some of the with some of the modern, vernacular, whatever.
Very funny.
So what are you working on these days? What keeps you busy? Obviously you have your clients and you have some columns, but go a little bit more into the content and what drives your creativity.
I consider myself a contract artist, and I am very proud of the style and form and brevity of my contracts. And so my artistic creativity comes from knowing what I call the default rules, which are all the rules that apply if you say nothing. I do approach it as an art, so I always view it as you're on the chessboard and who has power, and often silence is power, often knowing what rules apply if you say nothing is power. Controlling the rights, I always tell my clients, I always give this example. You have imagine that you've got a screenwriter, and I've got this all the time. Screenwriter writes a script, and a producer runs off, and they shake hands, and the producer runs off and says, I'm going to make this happen, and runs around town, gets a bunch of people committed, and now they get in a fight. The question is, who has control? And everyone usually says producer has control, is the winner, and I always say it's whoever owns the rights, because the statute of frauds, you need to have a transfer of rights, you need to be in writing. So I always try to get my clients power on the chessboard. I consider that an art, and mainly controlling the rights. And in every negotiation, I always try to figure out what are my strengths and weaknesses, how can I get to the close as fast as possible with the least amount of ruffling people's feathers, and how can I make contracts as short and sweet as possible. So that is, I do consider that an art. But what I do for a living, I do everything in the entertainment. I do scripts, I do options, I do development, I do production, I do financing, distribution, I do LLCs, partnerships, everything in the world. So I've done some of the biggest ones to some of the smallest. So whatever comes in the door.
I love it. This is great. Sky, a final question for you here today. Let me be a fly on the wall in your office. It's November 11th for everybody. For some context, it's 2025. Going into the new year, we'll blink and it's going to be 2026. We already know how that happens. What are some of the things that you're thinking about and planning for, either for your clients, yourself, or otherwise, as we head into the new year in this current moment in time?
The big things coming is Section 181, which has been a film financing transaction, is expiring at the end of the year. There's been some big changes in the tax law. There's a new Section 168K that allows a similar deduction if you meet certain requirements. So I'm definitely focused on that. The next big thing is, of course, sources of financing. It's always, where is the money coming from? And so I'm always all over that, whether it's foreign investors, whether it's U.S., is it the private market. I've ridden so many waves of financing. And then how do you deal with the film tariffs? You've got to worry about Trump with his 100% film tariffs. That would be a disaster for the industry. So I've got one of my solutions I'm working on is to have countervailing duties to the extent that foreign countries provide subsidies for film production outside the U.S., that the U.S. would do a countervailing duty only to the extent of the subsidy that's provided by the foreign government. So that's another thing I'm working on. And then AI, God, I'm just all over AI. There's so many legal implications with it. Is the uploading copyright infringement? I have to advise on that all the time. Is the downloading copyright infringement? If you have something created by AI, how do you protect it, since the courts keep holding that you can't protect it with copyright? So how do you protect the Tilly Norwoods of the world that are AI-created actors? And can you use trademark to do it? So I'm constantly involved with that. And then just the collapse of theatrical distribution, complete collapse of theatrical. Where's the market going? And what's happening to the studios? And the answer is they're dinosaurs and they're dying. And so I have to think about where do you go? If you're trying to distribute a film, should you go theatrical, or should you just try selling to a streamer? I mean, what do you do? So those are the big ticket items that I worry about or think about.
If somebody's listening or watching this guy and they want to follow up, pick up a copy of your book or follow your work, how do they do that?
Yeah, easy. The Biz, I highly recommend The Biz. It's the most popular book out there in the film industry for the business side, and it's just The Biz on Amazon. And then all they have to do is write me an email and with the word ad in the subject line, and I'll add them to my newsletter, and then they'll get my Forbes column and they'll get my monthly newsletter. And my email is easy. It's smoore, Moore, at ggfirm.com. So it's very easy. smoore at ggfirm.com. Just put ad in the subject line, and I will add you to the newsletter, and you'll get my Forbes, where I really do keep up with everything that's going on, AI and the new tax bill and everything, and the countervailing duty theory that I have, and rating films with AI. So that's the way they should do it.
Love it. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some information in the show notes to make it easy so that you can connect. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show, each and every day, bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Sky, man, thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you.